It is great to deliver the speech after a fantastic musical session. I definitely feel audience and the speaker now feel very joyful and energetic, because we do need this energy, because we are all today in an uncertain world. Let me grab the page 10. Yeah. Okay. First of all, who am I, right? More than 30 years ago, actually in your seat, like today, because I'm thinking about my undergraduate university application. What should I do, right? What should be my major? Then I come up with some idea. Probably not as concrete, as ambitious as a lot of you guys today. But I'm thinking about it, okay, I'm going to do international, something need to go overseas. And then I think, I need to make money, right? So I decided to pick my major, the international foreign trade, and then international finance, and then later on MBA in Harvard. So those are all the majors, you go abroad, you do business with many countries, and then you make money, right? Or at least you make money for your company. So I decided to pick those, and I actually after that, a lot of my career path afterwards, you can see, is just go as certain as I designed very early on. So I've been to management consultants for a couple of years in China and in the US, and then private equity investors for many years across China, US, China, Europe, and some other regions as well. And then later on, I become a strategic investor, basically a head of investments for a large conglomerate. It's an internet company called JD.com. I'm sure many of you guys are shopping on that, right? So, it's basically I do what I designed to do 30 years ago. And, I feel I'm accumulate, I grow, things are quite certain. And then end up I would call it a classical investor. Probably not in a good way, right? So, you're stuck on what you're doing. And then you actually, if there's no change, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life, right? It's quite certain. Okay. For some people, changes started like 10 years ago, some people 2 years ago, all the AIs, all the geopolitical tensions, etc. For me, actually, it started from 5 years ago. I definitely feel the changes. Now the world is shaking. Well, when I was in JD.com, it's a large internet company, as you all know. I do all the investments. I do like 50 or even 100 investments a year, and do investments across different sectors. Get really busy. 996 doesn't describe my schedule enough, because I do more than that. But then suddenly there will be some regulation changes. There will be regulation changes called anti-monopoly to the large internet companies. There will be unordered capital expansion, right, for internet companies, and then basically the regulator hammer all of this. Just in a few months, all the internet major companies either decrease their investment activities, or some of them actually even shut down the whole investment events. So a few months later, I lost my job. That's the first time, because in the over past 30 years, do everything, like there's no stop. I'm an unstoppable machine. I do like around the clock work. And at the same time, I'm sure you guys are also familiar, there's something called a COVID, the pandemic happened, right? Schools get closed, people need to work at home, and you need to just stay in your community, you can't walk out, you can't travel, right? Especially in the later part of the time, you feel really angry. You feel, I can't go nowhere. And people get depressed, people get really upset. And at the same time, I lose my job. And a non-stoppable engine now stops everything. How can I do? I made a decision. I want to start a new partnership called Su and Hu is my surname, partnership. I'm going to partner with Su Dongpo, right? I'm sure he agreed, right? And what I do, I decided to take a few months off and started to write a book about him called Su Dongpo's Footprint. So a few months later, I actually wrote, this book is about 300,000 words. So it's actually quite thick, this thick, right? So to write this book, I certainly, why? This print, the painting is Huang Gongwang the Fuchun Shen Ju Tu, right? So it's very interesting painting. And then by coincidence, the shape of the mountain goes 3 ups and 3 downs. It's like Su Dongpo's life. And so I did all the study because I get the study skills. I can do research. So I said, let me do all the research. So I read about 50 books about Su Dongpo, including his Su Dongpo Quanji, and then did all the interesting. I found it so interesting because this is a genius guy, right? And he did everything such amazing way. So I basically follow his footprint. Among the time I can travel, I then travel to some of the major cities, places he been stayed for a few months or actually a few years, and then look at all the stuff he did there, and then all the heritage he left there. So it's a great time, and those are all the places. So basically I travel. So I feel like I travel with him, right, with my senior partner. And then that experience gave me a great time. Every day I woke up, I no longer feel anxious. I feel excited. I don't even want to eat my breakfast. I don't even want to do my morning exercise. I just want to sit there, read his book, and write something about him. So actually the COVID time gives me some really quiet time period to do my thing. Okay, and then certainly I need to find a job after that, and then happily I identified an opportunity in Middle East. It's a royal family fund focused on technology. It's one of the largest fund set up that year, and it's headquartered in Abu Dhabi. And actually they're very much focused on AI, which is I'm very interested because at the time AI just started to pick up. I really want to do something in this new trend, this profound new technology, and also I need to look into all the interesting sectors like biopharma, data, AI, etc. All the new sectors. So I need to do all the learning. So at that time I have to give up my Su Dongpo because I need to learn all of this stuff. And however, after 2 years, there are some really remarkable investment deals I've done. There are more challenges coming out. There's now a tension, a geopolitical conflict on the technology side, as you can all tell. With all the pressure from the US, Abu Dhabi decided to pull off the technology arm from China. So those are all the news at the time. And when you read the news about these things, that's what determines my fortune. You won't be really happy. And I have to back to my Su Dongpo because I lose my job again. So I continue to do the Su Dongpo thing, which will fill in all my time. And I decided So say, okay, now I got the time, I need to do something new thing, right? So I decided to do a longevity technology. This is certainly very new time. It's so people can live to 150. And then I do the public affair with Preston, see over there. And I do hiking. Those are all the Italy and then Xinjiang, Tibet, everywhere. So, because I got some time. And then I do the wine appreciation. I visited the Ningxia and the Yunnan, the best wine producing area in China. And I learned tango, right? I do my first tango show in Portugal, Lisbon. And from last year, I started to learn Japanese on Duolingo, on my bathroom time. So I got the time to do something different, live a different life. And then I also certainly, I'm still young and energetic. I want to do something new. So from last year, I started to put myself in Hainan, because Hainan is doing free trade right now. And also put myself into the industrial software, because this is a fundamental technology to support the manufacturing of China. So, I want to put something really interesting, really helpful for this country. One last page. For me, and I'm sure for you, same. Now this world is evolving faster and faster. There is so much uncertainty there. It can be regulation, it could be geopolitical issues, it could be new technology. AI profoundly change everything around us, and then the economics now is very turbulent, and the market is not as strong as before, and then there's natural disaster like COVID. There will be personal challenges, health issues, whatever, and there's more. Anyway, the world is uncertain. Something certain there, I believe, is your core value, your attitude towards your life. And those are things I believe really help. You embrace changes, you accept them, and be really curious to everything new, everything happening there. And learning is not about just in school, learning is lifelong time. And absolutely say no to 摆烂, 躺平, right? A few days, that's okay, but no, for sure, for your life, right? And work hard, play hard, right? And certainly create value. Do something, create value. You create value, you feel meaningful. And certainly you care about others, you cherish friends, you get positive people surrounding you, and certainly live an epic, energetic life, right? Last, laugh often, enjoy. Thank you so much.